Apartments have you covered. Come see us today because, folks, again, you know we sell the King of Price way and we do service the King of Price way.
King of Price, Randy, Mary, and Statesville.com.
And now a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. It's been a beautiful day out there today, and we expect those beautiful conditions to continue through the evening. Mostly cloudy skies with the overnight low dropping to 58. As you head into tomorrow morning, mostly sunny skies with that afternoon high getting up near 79 degrees. This has been your weather report from the WSIC Weather Center. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Scoreboard again here on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM, and always streaming video live to Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, LinkedIn, WSICnews.com, wherever you want to get us. We're there for you. And there's a lot to talk about today. Yesterday, we did not have time to get through everything that I wanted to because there was so much that happened over the weekend. I couldn't squeeze it all in to a 1-hour show. So we're going to talk about some things that happened over the weekend today also. But there's other things that have been happening in the world of sports. It doesn't just slow down because we couldn't get to everything. So we're going to talk about today's news also and look forward to tomorrow's football game. Thursday night football, Giants 49ers. If there was ever a football game that you could miss and know the end result, this is the one. Because the Giants, unfortunately, don't look like a good team. And I have the 49ers going to the Super Bowl as a reminder. 49ers-Ravens, that's what I think we're going to have this year. But nonetheless, let's get into everything before we lose too much more time. Charlotte FC played over the weekend. Yes, they did. They took on DC United and, well, 0-0 draw. And okay, you might be thinking, hey, that's cool. They didn't lose. That's, positivity. Well, the problem is DC is the 9th seed in the Eastern Conference right now. The final team to make the playoffs. Charlotte is sitting at 11, 3 points behind DC. Had Charlotte won that game, they'd be tied in the standings. But because they tied the game and each team got a point for that, Charlotte still sits 3 points behind the playoffs. And they're running out of time. Now, we have noted how little time left there is in the season. They're down to 7 games remaining. One of them taking place tonight, which we will talk about. Charlotte taking on Philadelphia. That game will be at 7:30. And like I've been saying for the past, 2 months, Charlotte has to string together some wins. I thought they would get momentum from the Leagues Cup a few weeks ago, but that momentum really didn't carry over. They tied yet again 2 in a row here. 3 ties in a row after somehow beating LAFC, your reigning MLS champion. But 3 draws in a row. And now they head to Philadelphia, who is one of the better teams in the Eastern Conference, currently 4th, sitting in a pretty good spot. No issue with them making the playoffs. The separation from 9th to 4th is about 12 points, which is, I don't know if you're doing the math at home, but that's 4 games that they would have to make up or I guess not make up, but 4 games that they would have to lose in order to miss the playoffs. Not going to happen. Cincinnati, currently the only team in the MLS who has clinched the playoffs. They are atop the Eastern Conference, 58 points, and Orlando with 50 points. So Cincinnati really taking control of the Eastern Conference. And Charlotte has a chance. They still do, because even though there's so few games left, like I said, 7, they're close enough to that 9 seed that, look, if they win today and DC loses, you're going to see Charlotte right there. Now, that is granted, there is one other team in between them, and we can't discount Chicago. So they do need some help in Chicago, either losing or drawing in their game. I mean, a draw would still jump Charlotte ahead of them if they were able to win. But they need to win. They need to start off on the right foot here. There's 7 games left. Get a win. Get some momentum going. I guess it's cool and all that they're not losing. I remember we talked about that historic non-losing streak that Charlotte went on earlier in the year, where they had like 6 draws in a row and they didn't lose. But now they got 3 draws in a row, a win before that, but they got to get another win. Like these 0-0 and 1-1 games are not helping them. They have to gain some ground. And today is a good chance for them to be able to do it. If they beat Philadelphia and DC does end up losing, well, then Charlotte's in a much better spot moving forward as we get down to the final 6 games after today. But DC taking on Atlanta. So Atlanta currently 6th in the standings. So a little bit better team taking on DC. Maybe they'll pull it off and Charlotte can get the win and get that much closer to the playoffs, because they're right there. They're knocking on the door, and I see no reason why this team should not attack and make the playoffs. They're a good team. They play good. They just have bad luck. That's what I really think it boils down to here is the bad luck, because even when they played DC over the weekend, they dominated the time of possession. Now, granted, DC had some more shots on goal, but they dominated time of possession. They had the ball. They had chances. They got shots. They had corners. Like, you just got to convert, and sometimes the luck just isn't there. So we'll see if tonight Charlotte FC can turn that luck around, get a few goals against Philadelphia, get a nice win, and roll towards those playoffs. That game, unfortunately, will not be on WSIC. So if you do want to check that game out, make sure you get Apple, because that's apparently the only way that you can watch these MLS games. You have to get Apple TV. As we kind of transition here, we're coming up on our first break. I want to talk about high school football over the weekend that we just had. Some pretty good games, some overtime games, some 1-point games going on around the area, and some teams that are turning it around now. I know we spoke about Statesville. They started the year 0-2. Well, guess what? They're currently 2-2. We also talked about the 1-2 start that South Iredell had. Well, not much better, but they are still getting some wins, and they had a really tough game on Friday. So make sure you stay tuned. We are going to talk about some of those high school football teams in the area, because it is that season. Friday Night Lights, all that fun stuff. We'll make sure we cover it here on the Scoreboard. Well, make sure you stay tuned, because we will talk about that when we return. 704-873-1400. That is the phone number. If you have something you'd like to talk about, questions, comments, concerns, let me know. Stay tuned. We'll be back after this.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't fix America's debt by starving its people.
Have your say.
One shooting after another, and we're doing nothing to solve it?
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Stuart Owen Dance, the resident dance company of Asheville's Wortham Center for the Performing Arts, is performing at Kane Center for the Arts in Cornelius this Saturday. Want to learn more about Stuart Owen Dance before the event? Listen and watch Justin Dione, Executive Director of Kane Center for the Arts, during his show, Know the Scene, on Tuesday or on demand anytime. Just visit WSICnews.com and click on radio shows to find Know the Scene. Stuart Owen Dance, this Saturday, canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. The sesquicentennial celebration for the town of Huntersville is here this Saturday from 2 until 8 p.m. at Huntersville Athletic Park. Come celebrate Huntersville's 150th birthday, Saturday, September 23rd. For more info, visit huntersville.org. The All-American Dog Show is back in Cornelius, Sunday, October 1st, 2 until 5 p.m. Your furry friends are also welcome to attend. You can even enter them into the contests. Be sure to come by the WSIC tent at the All-American Dog Show happening at Robbins Park in Cornelius, Sunday, October 1st. For more info, visit cornelius.org. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
The Renaissance Festival is back! Saturdays and Sundays, September 30th through November 19th. A non-stop outdoor family adventure. Huzzah! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
And now a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. It's been a beautiful day out there today, and we expect those beautiful conditions to continue through the evening. Mostly cloudy skies with the overnight low dropping to 58. As you head into tomorrow morning, mostly sunny skies with that afternoon high getting up near 79 degrees. This has been your weather report from the WSIC Weather Center.
Are you curious about the new development down the street? Wondering what's going on in your community? I'm Bill Russell, host of Town Talk. Join me each Wednesday afternoon, 4 to 5 p.m. here on WSIC as we chat with elected leaders, town staff, business owners, developers, and nonprofit leaders who are shaping our community. Town Talk, each Wednesday at 4 on WSIC.
Have your say.
Trusting the government to fix anything is a joke.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't even trust the banks with our money.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
All right, everyone. We are back here on the scoreboard. WSIC 1059 100.7 FM 704-873-1400. That is our phone number if you have something you'd like to talk about, something on your mind, anything bothering you. Are you really upset about the Panthers this year? I can be like a therapist if you need to. If you need to vent about the Panthers and how you were really hoping this year was going to be a great year. If you need to vent, I can be here for you. 704-873-1400. High school football, that is what's going on right now. We will talk about that. So Statesville, I was talking about them before the break. They started the year 0-2, but on Friday, they were able to take down North Lincoln by a score of 18-14. Now, Max Preps doesn't really have any stats on that game, so I can't call out anybody that I'd like to shout out. So, if you know somebody who performed well for Statesville, give me a call, shout them out, let them know they did a good job. We're all rooting for you, all that fun stuff. Statesville taking on East Lincoln next. That will be another conference game. Pretty much all the games from here on out are going to be conference games. So I'm going to stop specifying. But like I said, East Lincoln on Friday, they are 3-1. Statesville sits at 2-2. We'll see where that one ends up. South Iredell sitting 2-3 on the year, and if you remember, they were 2-2 going into this weekend. Unfortunately, they did lose to West Cabarrus, who got their first win of the year. This game in overtime, and I do have a little bit of stats for you here. We had the quarterback, Tyler Johnson, going 14 of 23 for 128 yards and a touchdown. And he also ran 8 times for 70 yards with 2 touchdowns being run in. And the receiver that caught the touchdown was Drew Bryant. He's a senior. His only catch of the day was that 30-yard touchdown, so congratulations on that. Unfortunately, in overtime, the South Iredell Vikings were unable to get the win. Now, they went for 2 after scoring a touchdown on their drive, which, you know, it's a good idea, but you see the issue that arises from that as West Cabarrus, right after that, they go and get a touchdown. They kick the extra point, and that's the game. Now, I don't know if I'm a coach, if I would want to do that. I really, it depends on the situation, because in this game specifically, when you look at the box score, South Iredell was up, and they were up big, 16-0. West Cabarrus comes down in the fourth quarter, puts up 16 unanswered, ties the game. And when you score in overtime like that, yeah, for this game, it makes sense to go for 2 because the other team does have a lot of momentum. You were able to finally punch it in again for the first time since the second quarter. But you don't get the 2-point conversion. The defense still can't stop the momentum that the other team has. And West Cabarrus rolls down the field, scores, and kicks the extra point for the win. Tough way to lose, but at least the coaching was aggressive. And there's really not much else you can say about that. West Iredell, they've been off to a pretty strong start this year. Remember, they started the year shutting out Thomas Jefferson. Well, they took on St. Stephen's on Friday, and they just barely squeaked out with the win. Yes, the West Iredell Warriors got the win, but the final score, 42-41. Whew. Boy, oh boy, is that a nail biter. And there were some interesting things going on in this one. So you have senior C.J. Ferguson, who ran 18 times for 221 yards and 4 total rushing touchdowns. He also caught 2 catches for 18 yards. But man, 18 for 221. And West Iredell comes out with the win, able to get to 4-0 on the year. So congratulations not only to West Iredell, but also CJ. Great performance. I mean, 221 on the ground is pretty awesome. Love to see it. We had to North Iredell here next. And a reminder, kind of like Statesville, they started off the season not the best. 0-2 to start the year, shut out by South Iredell right away. But they took on Ford over the weekend, and not only were they able to get a win and bring their record to 500, but they got the shutout against Ford and took that one by a final score of 33-0. Yet again, unfortunately, no stats entered by North Iredell into Max Preps. I'd love to shout some of these players out. I mean, I know the schools are responsible for doing this stuff, or a parent or something. Give me something to work with here. Let me get these max prep stats. Come on. I'm just playing around. Anyway, I'm going to talk about another team that we have, another school, I guess, that we really haven't covered too much. That being Mooresville, because they're looking good this year. Back-to-back games where they score 40 and only allow one score, beating Cox Mill 42-3, and it wasn't even close. Mooresville, they ran for 117 total yards combined. They threw for 212 yards, that being Brody Norman, the quarterback. And the leading rusher, senior A.J. Baker, 11 times on the ground for 53 yards. Domination. There's not much else you could say about it because a 42-3 score, and not only that, but it was 35-0 at halftime. This game was over by half, and Mooresville was able to just kind of cruise the rest of the way. So next, Mooresville takes on Hickory Ridge. In a couple of weeks, they'll be taking on South Iredell, so look out for that matchup. And I didn't even mention who North Iredell takes on next. It'd be St. Stephen's, that being this Friday. St. Stephen's is 0-4, unfortunately, so North Iredell looking to keep that 2-game winning streak alive and really do better in conference. The conference record is going to be very important, starting off strong, 1-0 in conference. That's all we're going to do with high school football today. Make sure you're keeping up with your favorite school, your favorite players, and call in and shout them out. If you have anybody who you'd like to shout out, we'd love to give recognition where maybe the recognition is not being given. But if there's nothing in max preps, then I can't really do much with that. So be better, you schools. You hear me? Be better. Put your stats in. I want to shout out your players. Moving on. This weekend is NASCAR. It's like every weekend is NASCAR. Well, yeah, it kind of is. So we head to the round of 12 this weekend in the NASCAR Cup Series. Race number 1 taking place at Texas. I know it's a fan favorite. Everybody loves Texas. Yawn. You know who's excited to go to Texas? That'd be Ryan Blaney. Because he's pretty good at Texas. And here's what he has to say about that.
You know, I enjoyed it even before they repaved it. And then when they repaved it and kind of reshaped the racetrack, it's kind of fit with what we do. Fits some of my driving style to a certain extent. And, you know, had a good run there, you know, last year in this race and won the All-Star race there last year. So we've had some good success there, but it's a tough place. You know, two ends are way different, banking-wise, bumps-wise, and it's hard to kind of hit each one. So, yeah, whatever the reason, we just kind of it works for us and been able to lead laps and run up front. And it'd be, you know, it's going to be important to kick off that second round, you know, with a good run at Texas. And,
yeah, it looks like so as we go to Texas, Ryan Blaney, unfortunately, currently sitting in a little bit of a tougher spot. It was not the hardest thing for him to make it through the first round. Well, he's probably going to have to fight to make it through the second round here. Starting the playoffs 6 points below the cut line, he'll immediately need to look to make up some points, whether that be through stages, whether that be through winning. We're going to head to a break here. I want to continue on NASCAR and also not only talk about Texas coming up, but I do want to touch a little bit more on Bristol because there were some things that were going on that not concerned me, but just some decision-making on some drivers' crews were interesting. So we'll touch on that a little bit. Stay tuned. You're listening to The Scoreboard here on WSIC. We'll be back after this.
Whatever the story,
we have to end our dependence on China.
Have your say.
This debt crisis is going to set our economy back big time.
This is WSIC News Talk Now. Live music, vendor booths, and community yard selling. Fun for the whole family returns to Statesville for the WSIC Community Yard Sale, October 28th at 1117 Radio Road. Spots start at just $25, but spaces are limited. Get yours today at WSICnews.com/yard sale.
I have a feeling it's going to be beautiful.
The WSIC Community Yard Sale, October 28th, 6 a.m. till 2 p.m.
Bing, that's the end of that.
And now a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. It's been a beautiful day out there today, and we expect those beautiful conditions to continue through the evening. Mostly cloudy skies with the overnight low dropping to 58. As you head into tomorrow morning, mostly sunny skies with that afternoon high getting up near 79 degrees. This has been your weather report from the WSIC Weather Center.
Older adults and those with chronic health conditions can build strength, improve balance, and gain confidence in their mobility through the Statesville Family YMCA's Moving for Better Balance program. This is a 12-week virtual program that takes place Tuesdays and Thursdays from 9 to 10 a.m. starting October 10th and running through January 11th. For more details, visit ymcanwnc.org.
Quality Car Care is your local Toyota specialist and a licensed NC inspection station. Plus, find a huge selection of quality pre-owned cars at QualityCarCareStatesville.com or call 704-871-2535.
Life can be full of risks. One thing you shouldn't take a risk with ever is your family's health insurance. If you're self-employed or you now need affordable health insurance, you need to make this free call right now and see how the Health Insurance Helpline can help you get it. We specialize in helping the self-employed and people just like you that need affordable health insurance to get it. We have short and long-term health insurance plans, and some even cover dental, vision, and prescription drugs. Don't take a risk with your family's health insurance. It's not worth it. If you're self-employed or now need affordable health insurance, call right now and learn for free how to get it. Listen, affordable health insurance plans for everyone just like you are a free phone call away. So give us a shout right now.
800-478-4170. 800-478-4170. 800-478-4170. That's 800-478-4170.
Join Oswald Baptist Church Sunday morning at 10 here on WSIC.
Off to an 0-2 start on their season. The Panthers have had some bright spots, but also know they have work to do as they get ready for Sunday's game at Seattle. I'm Jim Zoki with a Panthers update after this.
The only way to be your best self is with your best health. When you have a health partner who doesn't just treat part of you, they care for all of you. That's why more people prefer Atrium Health. Because unrivaled care is easier, more accessible, and more complete than ever before, so that you can enjoy more of the moments you love. That's what it means to live meaningfully, to live joyfully, to live fully with Atrium Health.
After dropping the first two games, the Panthers now head west for a visit to the Seattle Seahawks on Sunday. There have been some positives, in particular on the defensive side, where they've racked up 8 quarterback sacks through the 2 losses. Linebacker Frankie Luvu had 2 of the 4 in Monday's game against New Orleans, and Coach Frank Reich says he is a versatile piece for them.
He's a very smart player. This guy is wicked smart. We can use him in versatile ways. He gets the sacks. He can play, at the line of scrimmage. He can play in the second level. He can rush inside. He can rush outside. Cannot underestimate the value he has to our team.
But while the defense has been solid, the offense is still getting in sync. Wide receiver DJ Chark missed the first game with a hamstring injury, but was back on Monday, although he had just 1 reception. He says overall the offense needs to step it up, although there is still a long way to go in the season.
It's tough. Nobody's happy, but we also know that we have a lot to play for. It's just week 2 going into week 3. We have to get it together, definitely us as an offense. We have to put that on our shoulders and go make it happen, but we have all the pieces. A lot of credit to our defense for keeping us in that game the whole time. And just as teammates, you have to help them out.
Carolina's offense is ranked 28th overall, dead last, though, in passing. I'm Jim Zoki on the Carolina Panthers Radio Network, presented by Morris Jenkins.
From the top headlines to the in-depth stories that matter the most.
I'm afraid to think about the next presidential election.
WSIC News Talk Now. Breaking news, expert analysis, and the stories that matter most, all in one place.
I totally acknowledge seeing flames is a scary situation.
WSIC News Talk Now.
And we are back here on the Scoreboard. WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. Lots to get to yet today. Quick little reminder for you. Charlotte FC tonight, 7:30 against Philadelphia. I just thought I'd remind everybody. Now, it won't be on WSIC, but it will be on Apple TV. So if you have Apple TV and you want to keep up with the Panthers, that's how you'll be doing it. All right. Let's continue with the NASCAR talk because I have a question about one driver in particular. And maybe I focused in on this driver and the uphill battle that they were going to face in Bristol because I love a good underdog story. Michael McDowell had a bad crew chief decision. In stage number 1, there was a caution towards the end of the stage, all right? McDowell, who was currently in a spot to get points, his crew chief had him pit. He missed out on points. He cycled around to be closer to the front, and he ran up front for most of the race, top 5 speed. The thing is, when the second stage came around and there was a caution, he did not bring McDowell in. He let him stay out and get some points. And then late in the race said, we are able to point our way in, get all you can. Then why did you make him pit and lose out on 5, 6, 7 bonus points to begin with? Just something I was thinking about, as we look back on Bristol and some of the drivers that were eliminated. I don't feel too bad for McDowell. The person that I feel the worst for is Kevin Harvick. 2 things that I'm going to point out to you. One early in the year, because as I've talked about, I love those early season what-ifs. And one in the playoffs. Earlier in the season, we were at Phoenix, the site of the championship this year. Kevin Harvick, solid lead over William Byron, and with a few laps to go, Harrison Burton spins. And with that spin, pit stops ensue, and some people took 2, some people took 4. Harvick shuffled back, a couple more cautions. He wasn't able to get back to the front, loses the race, and loses his 5 bonus points that comes with winning a race. Those 5 points would have put him through to the next round. And then the one that you're probably going to remember a lot more fondly because it was so recent. Racing at Darlington in the final stage, Kevin Harvick runs down Tyler Reddick. Harvick goes to pit. Reddick reacts and tries to pit. Ryan Newman locks him up behind Reddick, spins, caution comes out, penalty on Harvick. He never recovers and finishes in the lower half of the field. 2 moments, multiple points lost, 1 driver eliminated because of it. That's the way it goes, I guess. That's what NASCAR wants with this playoffs is one spot can make or break your season. One race. And it almost happened to Truex. I almost wish that Martin Truex Jr. would have been eliminated from the playoffs, because had he been eliminated after winning the regular season championship, maybe NASCAR would look back on this format that they have and go, what are we doing here? We're the only motorsport that has a playoff system. What are we doing? If you want something, you had it correct with the chase. That's just my opinion. I don't like the playoffs. I think it's a bad system. The chase was a much better system, in my opinion. 10 drivers, reset the points, go at it for 10 races. Where are you going to find a more fair system? If you're 8th, you love it. If you're 1st, you hate it. But that's what NASCAR has become. And we're just going to have to sit here and accept it. So we head to Texas. The site that killed racing at North Wilkesboro in the 1990s is now hosting a playoff race. And it wasn't all bad for North Wilkesboro. They got their all-star race, yada, yada. We know all that. But we go to Texas, one of the least favorite tracks for drivers and fans alike. Nobody seems to like that track. Nobody shows up to that track. Remember when they made it the all-star race and tried to give it a platform? Didn't work. The only notable thing that happened at the Texas All-Star race was Ross Chastain driving up the side of Kyle Busch's car and almost doing barrel rolls the way we saw Ryan Preece do it. That was the only notable thing. Other than that, nobody passed, and that's Texas. This car doesn't like Texas. I don't think any car has liked Texas over the past 5 years, ever since the repave. I'm sure when a driver wins, unless you're Kyle Busch, because Kyle Busch is never happy. When they win, they're like, yeah, I love this car. I love this track. But there is a fast way to get around that track. And some of the drivers are able to figure that out and exploit that line. Exploit that line to better help them. Here's what William Byron says about the fastest way to get around.
You know, it changes. It moves around quite a bit. You know, I think that track is really starting to age. It's getting a couple grooves, and I feel like you can work the bottom to make passes. You know, the PJ1 or resin that they have on the track is really kind of stained the track, so it's made it difficult to find grip at first. But yeah, it's a fun place. I think we're continuing to improve when we go there as a team. So yeah, hopefully we can be a little bit faster than we were last year and a little bit less fireworks.
So much resistance in that. Yeah, it's a fun place to go to. You can just tell. The drivers don't like it. They put that PJ1 down to try to fix it. Didn't fix anything. But as I've been saying, first race, long way to go, round of 12. Byron has the most playoff points along with Martin Truex Jr. Both of them are 25 points away from the cut line. Then you have Denny Hamlin, who's 21 points to the good. Kyle Larson, 12. Chris Buescher at 10. Kyle Busch at 8. Christopher Bell at 5. And Tyler Reddick sitting only 3 points to the good. And I don't remember if I actually gave my predictions yesterday or not. But what the heck. We'll do it again today. Moving on to the round of 8, in my humblest of opinions, William Byron, Martin Truex Jr., Denny Hamlin, Kyle Larson, Chris Buescher, Kyle Busch, Brad Keselowski, and Tyler Reddick. We're heading to a break. One more segment when we return on this Wednesday. Oh, man. We're going to talk a little bit of NFL because we have a game tomorrow that I want to at least inform you about. Stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. Don't change the radio. Don't scroll on your phone elsewhere. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. See ya.
Be a part of the conversation.
I listen on the way to work.
Have your say.
It's more than just opinions, it's facts.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. Stuart Owen Dance, the resident dance company of Asheville's Wortham Center for the Performing Arts, is performing at Kane Center for the Arts in Cornelius this Saturday. Want to learn more about Stuart Owen Dance before the event? Listen and watch Justin Dione, Executive Director of Kane Center for the Arts, during his show, Know the Scene, on Tuesday or on demand anytime. Just visit WSICnews.com and click on radio shows to find Know the Scene. Stuart Owen Dance, this Saturday, kanearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. The sesquicentennial celebration for the town of Huntersville is here this Saturday from 2 until 8 p.m. at Huntersville Athletic Park. Come celebrate Huntersville's 150th birthday, Saturday, September 23rd. For more info, visit huntersville.org. The All-American Dog Show is back in Cornelius, Sunday, October 1st, 2 until 5 p.m. Your furry friends are also welcome to attend. You can even enter them into the contests. Be sure to come by the WSIC tent at the All-American Dog Show happening at Robbins Park in Cornelius, Sunday, October 1st. For more info, visit cornelius.org. Have an event you'd like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
The Renaissance Festival is back! Saturdays and Sundays, September 30th through November 19th. A non-stop outdoor family adventure. Huzzah! Tickets available online only at renfestinfo.com while supplies last.
And now a look at your weather forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. It's been a beautiful day out there today, and we expect those beautiful conditions to continue through the evening. Mostly cloudy skies with the overnight low dropping to 58. As you head into tomorrow morning, mostly sunny skies with that afternoon high getting up near 79 degrees. This has been your weather report from the WSIC Weather Center. WSIC Sports Director Joe Berg here. NASCAR Cup Series races are back on WSIC. Catch every race of the season right here on your home for NASCAR, News Talk WSIC.
Thought-provoking conversations and informed perspectives.
It's meant for everyday people to understand, and you don't have to stress about technical terms and stuff. They just say it like a real person.
WSIC News Talk Now. Be a part of the conversation.
We can't fix America's debt by starving its people.
Have your say.
One shooting after another, and we're doing nothing to solve it?
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
All right, final segment here on the scoreboard. 704-873-1400. That is the phone number if you have something you'd like to talk about. We're going to talk a little NFL here to end the day. Some news going on in terms of trades. The Rams have made a trade with the Vikings. The Rams have traded running back Cam Akers to the Vikings. Vikings head coach Kevin O'Connell worked with Cam Akers back in LA, so they bring him in for some reinforcement. No word yet on the compensation for Akers, but it's going to be, it looks like the teams are swapping late round draft picks in the year 2026. That just goes to show you how devalued the running back position is. I don't know why anybody's trading for a running back right now, but I mean, I guess if you're just going to swap picks, no harm, no foul. You keep the same round. A little bit weird, but nonetheless, the Vikings with a new running back in the room, that'd be Cam Akers. Also, Bears defensive coordinator Alan Williams announced that he is resigning. Not really sure why. Said that he would be focusing on his health and his family, so we wish him all the best. But those are the two little pieces of news that we have out of the NFL right now. I want to talk about not only this Thursday night game coming up, but Monday Night Football, because we really didn't have too much of a chance to discuss the logistics of what happened this past Monday night. The Panthers played the Saints, which we covered and we talked about that extensively. We know that they lost. They had an 0-2 start. Playoffs are really looking like it's not going to happen. A win before the bye week looks even less promising. But also, the Browns played the Steelers. Now, the NFL's been doing this for a few years now, where early in the season, it's kind of like an early season special. You're going to get 2 Monday Night Football games. I don't think I like it. I don't. Because you have Thursday Night Football, standalone game. Then you have the Sunday slate of 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games. Pick and choose which one you want to watch them all, who cares? Then you have the Sunday night standalone game, and then normally you have the Monday night standalone game. Well, Monday was 2 games going on, kind of had to switch back and forth between the two to figure it out. I personally watched more of the Panthers game, which means I missed the Nick Chubb injury. I missed the poor Deshaun Watson play at the beginning of the game. If it's a standalone game on a day like Monday night, Thursday night, or Sunday night, do not put something to compete with it. It's pointless. It defeats the purpose of Monday Night Football. And honestly, pick better games. Man. And that brings me to Thursday night. Who in their right mind thought Giants 49ers was deserving of national attention? Who in the NFL thought that? Because if anybody paid attention to last year, you would know that the 49ers are a juggernaut. And the Giants are a team that, despite all odds, somehow made and won a playoff game, which is cool and all. Okay, you got 2 teams who were in the divisional round of the playoffs last year going up against each other. No, it's not that. It's you have one team who still can't find their footing with a new coach and a new quarterback. And while he's 4 years older now, I mean, I guess he's not new, can't figure out if they want to keep their running back, versus a team who is perennial contenders for the NFC Championship game. They've been in it for what? I don't know. They were in the Super Bowl a few years ago. They barely lost to Mahomes. They've had 4 different quarterbacks in the last 4 years, and all they do is win. Who thought this was going to be a good matchup? Now, maybe I'm completely wrong, and I hope I am, because the last thing I want is to turn on Thursday Night Football and see yet another dud, because it seems like that's all we get. Eagles-Vikings last week, you can try to convince me that it was a good game, 6-point game, Eagles-Vikings. I don't think it was a good game. And I'll tell you what, I feel bad for Al Michaels, because if you listen to him last year, towards the end of the year, where every Thursday night game was terrible, I don't think he's happy doing Thursday Night Football. He had the gig. He was doing Sunday Night Football. They can flex into Sunday Night Football, put all the good games there. Now he's doing Thursday Night Football. And yeah, while they can still flex the games, which is new this year, I don't like it. Topic for another day. why are all these games so bad? So the week 3 Thursday night game, Giants 49ers. Fun. Not really fun. Next week, I mean, it's intriguing. It should be better. We have the Lions and the Packers. And then the next week, another one that's going to be a dud. The Bears and the Commanders. Man, is that enticing. Broncos Chiefs. Battle of the AFC. No, that is not interesting at all. Jaguars Saints. Maybe it'll be a little interesting. But you're really hoping. So, my point being, like I said yesterday and the day before, and I mean the week before and the year before, it's time to get rid of Thursday night football. It's time. It was a good idea. It gives us only 2 days of no football on Tuesday and Wednesday, and then we're back to football, and then you got to survive. Well, you don't really have to survive Friday because you got Friday night lights with high school football games. Then you got Saturday, the college football slate, Sunday, and then you have Monday night football again. So Thursday was a good idea. It made sense. But my goodness, dude, these games stink. And they always do. I'm going to stop ranting and raving on Thursday night football because, man, it makes me so upset to see how many bad games we end up being exposed to. You can usually hide the bad games on Sunday. You just don't tune to it. Or if you watch Red Zone, they're like, we don't have to show it to you. I just can't wait until we're like really deep in the season here. Let's look ahead to week 14. Patriots Steelers. If it was 2010, I would be like, oh my God, that is a great Thursday night football game. Not in the year 2023. Especially in week 14 when it gets really important and you really want to spotlight on these good games. How about week 17? Well, we have the Jets and the Browns. Probably was a good idea to start the year. Probably going to get flexed because the Jets don't have Aaron Rodgers and the Browns looks like they should have stuck with Baker Mayfield. That's the last time I'm going to rant and rave on this. Okay, I'm done today. I won't do it anymore. We only got a couple of minutes left. Let's be happy for the rest of the show, right? Talk about baseball real quick. The wild card race, I apologize once again to the Cincinnati Reds, sitting a game and a half out of the wild card. Can't have nice things when you bandwagon a team, I guess. Chicago, Arizona, Philadelphia, 3 wild card teams right now in the National League. When you head over to the American League, Seattle, Texas, still tied for that final wild card spot. And remember, no game 163 this year. One of the worst things that baseball did when they changed the rules was get rid of game 163. It's going to be more of an NFL style. Okay, who had the better head-to-head? Who had the better conference? Inter-league play until they find a tiebreaker. Normal division standings, though, Houston still holding a half-game lead on both Seattle and Texas. That division, like I said, will come down to the last day. So will the wild card, and so will the wild card in the National League. Well, thank you all for tuning in. Hopefully I didn't get anybody too angry talking about Thursday night football and how horrible it is. Join me tomorrow. We'll talk about Charlotte FC and how they did. Hopefully they got a win and moved a little bit closer to the playoffs and not another draw. Anything but a loss, really. Let's just keep getting points. You're listening to The Scoreboard with me, your host, Joe Berg, here on WSIC 105.9, 100.7 FM. Justin Kazepis tomorrow morning, 7 o'clock. Be there. We'll see you tomorrow. Same time, same place.